In July of 2025, a wealth guru named Derek Moneyberg did the impossible. He received a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt in just 3.5 years. If you don't train, that might not mean much, but to those who do, it's like hearing someone became a brain surgeon in a single year. The average time is 10 years of brutal, non-stop dedication. The martial arts world immediately exploded, calling him a fraud who tried to buy the one thing that isn't supposed to be for sale: respect. So, is Derek Moneyberg a secret prodigy, or did he just pull off the biggest scam in the history of jiu-jitsu? We're exposing the full story, the outrage, and the why. To understand why everyone was so angry, you have to know what a BJJ black belt actually is. This is not like the black belts you can get in a year at a strip mall karate dojo. Getting a BJJ black belt is like climbing Mount Everest, but you have to do it 4 times a week for 10 years. The average time is 8 to 12 years of constant, brutal training. We are talking thousands upon thousands of hours grinding on the mats. The journey is a marathon. You start as a white belt, knowing absolutely nothing. It's like being in kindergarten. A few years later, you might hit blue belt, which is like graduating high school. Then comes purple, where you're finally in college, starting to figure things out. Then brown belt, where you're basically a final boss for almost everyone. And then you might get a black belt. It's so much more than a belt. It's a symbol that you dedicated a huge piece of your life to this art. It proves you put in the work, got beaten down thousands of times, and never ever quit. It's a PhD you earn with your own sweat and blood. So when Derek Moneyberg, a guy famous for selling courses on how to get rich, claimed he did it in 3.5 years, people went crazy. It felt like he was spitting on everything they'd worked for. He said he trained for about 3,000 hours with 0 days missed. Just do the math on that. That's over 2.5 hours of training every single day. No weekends, no sick days, no vacations. The numbers alone are just wild. But the idea he could cram a decade of real experience into that time is what lit the world on fire. It was like he found a cheat code to a game that isn't supposed to have one. The man behind the money. Who is Derek Moneyberg? So who even is Derek Moneyberg? Well, we did some digging, and it turns out Derek Moneyberg isn't even his real name. He's actually Dale Butzkowski from Chicago. And changing your name to Moneyberg tells you everything you need to know about his brand. And before he sold courses on getting rich, he sold something else entirely. As RSD Derek, he was a star instructor for a company called Real Social Dynamics, one of the most controversial pickup artist companies in the world. They charged men huge amounts of money to learn how to seduce women. This is a critical piece of the puzzle. The whole pickup artist world was about finding manipulative shortcuts to romance instead of building real connections. It was about selling a cheat code to men who felt like they were losing. See the pattern here? Now, let's fast forward. Derek Moneyberg, the wealth coach, uses the exact same playbook. He sells incredibly expensive courses, promising you the secrets to becoming a millionaire. His entire image is perfectly managed. The private jets, the expensive cars, and most importantly, pictures with famous fighters. Some people call this credibility by association. It's like if I stood next to a rocket scientist and then tried to convince you I could build a rocket. By surrounding himself with real champions, he makes himself look real too.
Have you seen this Derek Moneyberg fella?
Oh, is he the jiu-jitsu guy?
Yeah, got his black belt in 3.5 years.
Right, but he is he legit? Because he's with legit people. So I can't imagine.
Jake Shields is a savage. Like, all the respect.
And Jake says he's legit?
I think Jake gave him his black belt.
Well, then he's legit. There's no way. I know Jake. There's no way. Jake is, his jiu-jitsu is top of the food chain.
Yeah.
And this brings us right back to the black belt. For his critics, this isn't about a guy who loves jiu-jitsu. This is a business decision. A black belt is one of the ultimate symbols of discipline. What better prop could you ask for to sell yourself as a master of success? In their eyes, he didn't earn it. He acquired it. He tried to buy the one thing money isn't supposed to be able to buy: real respect, analyzing the evidence. So where's the proof? If someone is a fighting genius, they have trophies. They have a mountain of wins from competitions. People who get belts super fast, like the legends BJ Penn or Kyotera, have tons of competition wins. Derek Moneyberg has 0. That means the only thing left is training footage, and the little bit he posted himself only made things worse. To a normal person, it might look okay, but to someone who actually trains, it's like watching someone who learned guitar on YouTube try to play a live concert. The right notes are there, but the music is gone. Critics everywhere pointed out that he looks stiff and clumsy, using brute strength instead of the smooth, effortless technique of a real black belt. It's like watching someone read the instructions to build a table instead of a master carpenter who just builds it. The worst part is he posted the videos himself, not even realizing how bad it looked to the pros. Now his coach, MMA veteran Jake Shields, says this is unfair. He said that by spending countless hours doing private training with the best fighters, he learned way faster. And it's true, Moneyberg has paid guys like Gordon Ryan to train him. But that brings up a huge question. Can you really learn jiu-jitsu from private lessons alone? That's like a scientist who only reads books but never actually does an experiment in a lab. A massive part of the journey is getting beat up by dozens of different people, body types, and skill levels in a normal gym class. Are paid lessons with a world champ who is basically your employee the same thing? Most people say absolutely not. The money, the influence, and the backlash. And this leads us to the biggest cheat code of all: money. Derek Moneyberg has so much money that he didn't just join a gym, he built his own. He didn't just go to class, he flew in the world's greatest fighters to be his personal coaches. The promotion itself was an absolute spectacle. It wasn't just Jake Shields. MMA legends like Lyoto Machida and Glover Teixeira were standing right there next to him. The whole thing was designed to make the belt look 100% legitimate, but for thousands of people, it did the exact opposite. It looked less like a martial arts ceremony and more like a Hollywood movie premiere. It looked like he paid for endorsements. Jake Shields said Moneyberg's money gave him an unfair advantage, but that he still put in the work. But that phrase, unfair advantage, is everything. Is having enough money to skip the entire traditional journey an advantage, or does it make the achievement totally meaningless? On the mat, your money is supposed to be worthless. Only your skill matters. This promotion made people feel like that sacred rule had been broken. It sent the message that you can buy your way to the top. The backlash wasn't just online either. One of Jake Shields' own black belts publicly called it into question. Shields responded by threatening to strip his own student of his belt, which just threw gasoline on the fire. And when Moneyberg was faced with all this, did he offer to compete to prove his skills? Nope. He attacked his critics, calling them low-functioning, and saying it was hopeless for them to comprehend what he did. He said it was all just jealousy. Then, he announced he was pulling all his financial support from the BJJ community, which seemed to prove what everyone was saying. This was all just a business deal. He sounded less like a martial artist and more like a customer who was angry with the service. The wider implications for martial arts. Okay, so why does any of this matter? Because this one story is about more than just one guy. It's a battle for the soul of martial arts that raises huge questions about integrity, money, and tradition. This isn't the first time, but it's the biggest example of what people call a celebrity belt or a money belt. As jiu-jitsu gets more popular, more rich and famous people want in. And that creates a temptation for coaches to fast-track promotions for clients who can offer them money or fame. It's like printing more money. Every time a fake bill gets passed, it makes the real money in your wallet worth a little less. Every time a money belt is given out, it makes every single real belt worth less. The Moneyberg situation is dangerous. It sends a message that the decade-long journey, the grind, and the humility that are supposed to define the art can all be skipped with a big enough check. And the craziest part is how it's all disguised in the language of hustle culture. Moneyberg claims he's not taking a shortcut. He's just a genius who disrupted an old, slow system. In his world, his critics are just too stupid to get it. It's an idea that directly attacks the core values of martial arts. So, let's break it all down. We have a guy with a documented history of selling shortcuts. We have a claim of a 3.5-year black belt that seems physically impossible. We have zero competition proof to back it up. And we have training footage that, to experts, looks incredibly suspicious. What we do have is tons and tons of evidence of money. Money to build private gyms, money to fly in the best coaches in the world, and money to throw a huge party to celebrate the promotion. And when it was all questioned, the response was to insult everyone and threaten to take the money away. So, is Derek Moneyberg a BJJ prodigy? The evidence overwhelmingly says no. This seems to be the story of a man who bought the car but has no idea how to drive it. He paid for the lessons, but he didn't earn the education. He used his incredible wealth to buy the costume of a martial artist, but skipped the entire journey that gives the costume its meaning. This is not a story about hard work. It's the shameless story of what happens when a deep tradition clashes with empty influencer culture. What does it say about martial arts when money can buy the appearance of being a master? And what do we all lose when the long, hard journey of real achievement can be skipped by the person with the biggest bank account? I want to know what you think in the comments below. Is this a legitimate promotion, or is it the ultimate grift?